Welcome back. Thank you guys for joining me. A couple of shout outs and things before we get started, which actually, let's pull these up over here. I did not mention our sponsors last stream. Very rude of me. Very sorry. I do love these guys, and I have been thinking about them quite a bit today. And I guess I thought about them so much that I forgot about them because we were watching KQ Hitman Reborn, and that has just captured my imagination again. Just like when I watched Naruto, I go back to that time where I was in the library and picked up this book, and I was like, this is weird. And it's like a ninja. How is there a ninja that's wearing bright ass colors like this? Or, you know, follow all the socials at Edge2Gaming _Edge2Gaming on Twitter for updates. Let's go ahead and get rid of this. And let's jump into it because this is chapter 1165 of One Piece. We have so much amazing things coming your way based off of all of the spoilers that we've got. The brief spoilers, the full spoilers. It sounded phenomenal. I'm ready to see what the official read says about this and see where God Valley is taking us next. But like I said, before we get started, we're going to take a little pause, little break, and say hello and give a shout out to our sponsors. First up, Emmy Eats Ramen. The place that you want to go for amazing ramen that is not going to kill you with high sodium. It's the world's first plant-based ramen, high fiber, high protein, low carbohydrate, low sodium ramen. You can go to the website IMMI eats.com. What you're seeing here on the screen, are you? Wait a second. You're not picking this up. This is what happened last week. We do not want to go through this again. We just want to give proper shout out and pay our respects. There we go to our sponsors. Now you can see Emma Eats Ramen here on the screen. The amazing ramen. Now I've heard from people that eat a lot of high sodium ramen. It doesn't taste that good at first because they're used to all the sodium in there, but they have amazing flavors. Black garlic chicken, which I heard is really good. I like black garlic chicken. Tom yum shrimp is good, but I'm a beef guy. Spicy beef is my deal. They also have spicy red miso, creamy chicken, and roasted pork tonkatsu. Again, low sodium, low carbohydrates, high protein, high fiber, plant-based ramen. Use promo code EDGE2G to get $5 off your purchase online, or you can check and see if they sell them locally in stores near you. You won't be able to use our promo code there, but you will get amazing ramen that you can eat as you watch anime, read manga, and it's the winter months. It's going to keep your belly warm. Our other sponsor, as you're seeing right here on the screen, it's like these are Nintendo Switch accessories. Yes, they fucking are. We have thumb grips, we have case covers, anime themed tote bags, video game covers, all here at switcheries.com. Use promo code EDGE10 to get 10% off your purchase at checkout. Again, that's switcheries.com. EDGE10, 10% off your purchase. Look at this Triforce cover. I like Zelda. I like Link. I'm an anime guy. I need, and let's see if we can find it. I talk about this one all the time. Gengar. I want Pokemon. I had to catch them all. It was my deal. I had red, blue, and yellow, gold. It eventually got a silver. I haven't played that many recently, but where's Gengar at? Okay. There's too many here for me to pass up because I know there's other people that like other shit besides Pokemon. We have a Nezuko Demon Slayer case here for Nintendo Switch, and that's all versions from the very first one to the latest ones. Spirited Away thumb grips, Usagi Sailor Moon Serena Luna case. There's also a Luna and Sailor Moon case itself. Bulbasaur, Hello Kitty thumb grips. Again, use promo code EDGE 10 to get 10% off your purchase whenever you purchase anything from switchery.com. And those are our sponsors. Thank you guys for that. Let's go ahead and dive into this chapter. We have a 17-page chapter. Let me make sure everything is pulled out right here. All right, let's go ahead and dive right in. Chapter 1165, that's 1165 for One Piece, called Reverberations. And then we have, let's go ahead and zoom in. We have Zeus here letting Beppo sleep on him, and Beppo is letting Law sleep on him. Reader requests Beppo sleeping peacefully using Zeus as a pillow by Match and Takashi. We start this chapter, page 2. Right where we left off. Xebec is grinning menacingly. No teeth missing, just fangs. Tears in his eyes. Blood, sweat all over his body. Hair is a fucking mess. Veins popping out. And then we see Garp, Monkey D. Garp, and Goldie Roger. Dirt, blood, grit, sweat all over their bodies. Fucking Roger's holding his sword with Haki coming out of his sword. And we hear... inside of their heads, we hear a voice coming from Davy D. Xebec, Roxy Xebec. He says, please. And Garp says, you hear that too? And Roger says, yeah. And then we see, and it was a tough call for this thumbnail because I had this picture colored, everything. It looked amazing, but it didn't pop as much as the one we're using now. But this is an amazing shot. Davy D. Xebec is lunging towards Garp and Roger. Remember, he has been Domi reversed, so he's twice his size. His Haki is imbued in the sword. He's got lightning coming off his back, flames coming off his back, and then he says, just kill me. Again, they hear this inside their head coming from Davy D. Xebec. He swings his Haki imbued sword towards him. And then we hear his words, his attitude, and his expression as Roger bears down on Ace, his sword with two hands, Haki still coming off. You can see the lightning in the background as he swings, and we see this epic clash as Roger blocks Davy D. Xebec's Haki imbued strike himself as Garp is hopping up towards his face. And then the one that said his word, his attitudes, and his expression was Goldie Roger. He says, they're all telling different stories. And Garp imbues his fist with Haki. And we see the lightning, the black lightning coming off. And he punches the fuck out of Davy D. Xebec, busting his nose. We see Haki into his face, veins coming out, head just shaking. And in the next panel, all we see is Davy D. Xebec's foot. It looks like his right foot gripped the ground to stop him going backwards from Garp's punch. Garp is leaning forward, and we see his arm that was fully extended starts to pull back towards his shoulder as he's continued to punch full Haki at Davy D. Xebec's face. We see Roger holding off Xebec's blade with his blade, Haki coming from both sides. And this was interesting too because I've seen this pointed out. They're like, oh, well, look at this hand. And this is Davy D. Xebec's hand. It's black right now. And you see Haki imbued in it. And then we see Garp and Roger fly back. Now, every clash that was done here used Haki. But I think this is our first, very, very first showing of the Supreme Conqueror's Haki. Because we are going to get some text about this here in a minute. So we continue. And we see... what the fuck's going on here? There we go. After the Haki blast, after Davy D. Xebec knocks Garp and Roger back, we see Garp, Roger blast into boulders like a mountainside, and Xebec's just standing there looking menacing. And then we see the Haki from that clash spread from coast to coast of God Valley. One of the mountain pillars has been knocked down, and it's just a blast in the middle of the island, and everybody's feeling this Haki, and they're like, ah, and they're just yelling. And then we see the fucking clouds part as the Marine soldiers looking up like, never seen shit like this before. Then, as we look up at the sky, Haki is still coming off. We see fire on the forest in the backgrounds, and pirates are saying, why does the sky look like that? It's split in half. We got to evacuate before we're all dead. And I think some of these may be civilians too. I can't tell if it's pirates or civilians. They look like there's some swords in front of them, so I think they're pirates. Because our next shot, we see Kyo, and he goes, let's steal the ship and get off this island. And then pirates in the background says, what? You mean Rox's ship? And then Kyo says, you really think he's coming back? And then Shiki says, gee, ha, 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 this is the end of the Rox pirates. And then all the pirates are saying, hurry to the shore. Then we see a boat off the coast. It looks like a marine vessel. And then someone says, "What did you say, Vice Admiral Garp?" And then Garp over the intercom says, "Once you've got everything, or every living resident and sailor on board, shove off and get out of here." Then we see some pirates and they say, "What's happening on the island, Roger?" And Roger goes, "Once Rayleigh and them get to you, wait off the coast." So both of our captains, Vice Admiral or Admiral Garp and Captain Roger, are telling the crews to get in the ship and leave the island. And next we both see them on Dindin Mushi's talking to the crew, saying the same exact thing, "I will be back," as they are just looking dead on straight at fucking Davy D. Xebec. Don't be reversed, Xebec. And then we see what they're looking at as they take off their coats and throw them to the background. Xebec just standing, still breathing, flames coming off the cape that's on him, his wings not spread all the way out, but spanning out, his sword lowered to the ground. And then Garp says, "Rocks, Roger, I came here intending to arrest you both, but..." And then Roger goes, "Yeah, and my plan was to steal Shaki and the treasure and hightail it out of here." And Roger continues, "Instead, shall we team up for a minute?" And Xebec's face looks like a fucking Oni getting ready to strike. Garp says, "I have a number of issues with this, but I can't afford to let him run free." Everybody, the agenda piece on Garp is over. We're gonna finish this. Xebec lunges his sword at Garp. Garp jumps over and he goes, "Hey, Rocks!" As he goes over Rox's head and Rox's sword pierces the mountain, we see Roger pulling Ace, his sword, over his head with Haki already coming off of it. And then he hits Davy D. Xebec in the back, and Xebec's head is now stuck in the mountain face with his sword. Right after this, we see Garp grab on his foot as he continues to go over Xebec's back. So this is a combo attack. He grabs a foot and he goes, "That look you've got, the curse." And then as he continues, he lands on the ground and with his foot in his hand starts to throw Davy D. Xebec. He says, "Is there any way to break it?" And he throws him into the other mountain. Bam! Then Roger in the air with his sword, double hand over his head again, imbued with Haki, comes straight down and Haki is flying all over the island. He goes, "Just wake up," as they both are trying to talk to Davy D. Xebec and see if he will communicate with them with the voice of all things again to let them know if there's a way to save him. Then we see Rayleigh holding Shaki, meeting with the rest of the Roger pirates. He says, "Faster, faster. Roger's going to keep fighting until we've evacuated the island." And then another pirate says, "That Haki's off the charts." Then we see Gloriosa, who we haven't seen this entire battle, says, "Got a spot for me on the ship, I assume," with a little heart emoji. And then Gabon says, "Gloriosa," as he's running right beside her. Then we get a conversation between Linlin and Kaido, and she goes, "Listen up, Kaido, you owe me for the rest of your life. You're gonna make good on that." And Kaido says, "Fat chance." It was finders keepers, which they did say when they were touching off on the island. Again, which was echoed by Roger's pirates, which were like, "Oh, this must just be a thing amongst pirates. Even if you have a captain, you're coming to claim your own treasure." But I digress. Kaido says, "Fat chance. It was finders keepers, Linlin, and you lost. Just watch me. I'm going to create a new crew where violence rules all." And then she goes, "You think you're hot stuff now? Keep dreaming of the day that you beat me. It'll never come," which, for them to keep this feud all the way until we see them in Wano is just... I love the sibling rivalries within the Rocks Pirates. But again, Linlin goes, "You think you're hot stuff now? Keep dreaming of the day you beat me. It'll never come." And then Strusson says, "Come on, Linlin, let's get moving. Carry this treasure." Then she looks at Kaido, and before she leaves, she says, "I'll come and collect one day," as she laughs and glares at him. And Kaido glares back and laughs, says, "And I'll be waiting to crush your spirit." And then we go back to Davy D. Xebec, Monkey D. Garp, and Gold D. Roger. And as Roger and Garp attack Davy D. Xebec, he hammers them back into mountainside yet again. We cut away to a mountainside that's on flames, and then we see Newgate standing there just looking, with a man on a mountain just sitting behind. And he goes, "You're the one who knocked down that mountain, aren't you, Newgate?" And then Newgate says, "Who are you?" And he goes, "Looks like your crew's falling apart." The name's Graham, and then we get a text box of this lovely man with a pineapple-shaped haircut, captain of the Polo Pirates, Polo Graham, Marco's daddy. And then he's jumping down. He says, I'm a big fan of yours. And then say, you got no ship to go back to, huh? Team up with me instead. And then Whitebeard Newgate says, get out of my hair. So if they did team up right after this, that means Marco grew up under whatever happened to his dad died, and Whitebeard took over for Polo. And since he was a kid, he's basically Usopp, but with his dad. Then we see Stussy, who we haven't seen. She's carrying 2 bags of gold and treasure in her hand. We also see what's his name? Ganzu. And they're yelling, and Stussy says, hey, where did Newgate go? And then Gansu says, don't ask me. And then we see a ship in the sea. What are you doing, Dragon? Calm down. And now we see Dragon losing his job as a soldier because he's holding a gun on a higher up Marine. And he goes, no, what are you people doing? Did you know what we were aiding here? And then a Marine from the back says, Dragon. Then Dragon says, put them on our ship right now. We have to rescue them. This whole time, he's been trying to rescue people to just redeem himself, while they have all been complicit in obeying the orders of killing, putting people to sleep so they can be killed and executed, and then only helping Celestials. We see civilians on the coast looking raggedy, crying, an old lady, a woman and her daughter, a man with a trench coat and a hat. And then Dragon goes, and if anyone argues against it, I'll execute him on the spot. He's done. He's tired of this shit. Dragon is no longer a Marine. He's no longer with the world government. Fuck what his daddy's plans was. He's fucking done. And then as we have a pan of the island, someone says, this isn't going to end here, Dragon. And then he says, it better not. Dragon the Revolutionary is started here right now as Roger and Garp fight Xebec. Then we see Scopper Gabon and Silver's Rayleigh running to the island, and they say, Rayleigh, Gabon, where are you going? And Gabon looks back and says, don't you dare follow us. Take the ship out into the open water and wait. And then we see a world government ship off the coast, and he says, that island. And we hear that it is Emu's voice, still within St. Saturn's body, and now he got them crazy Rinnegan eyes, saying, will never have existed, understood? And we know that God Valley is in the West Blue, but that text box lets us know we're shifting. We're shifting not only from the flashback, but we're going to kind of clips forward. I think we're going to get back to Elbaf maybe. So hopefully we get some resolutions here, because this is page 13 or 12 out of 17. Okay, we're in the West Blue, and then the narrator says the God Valley incident, S-level top secret classification. Holy shit. What were the other 25 incidents that got removed from history? Were they S-level or higher? But S-level top secret classification, records of clandestine operations and special hazard pay for naval base G11 and cipher pole number 6. And as we're reading this, we see Garp, Roger, and Xebec all yelling as they continue to fight. And then we see the second pillar of God Valley gone. I do think God Valley is actually future thriller bark, because there's no pillar standing up anymore. The narrator continues, registry of participants in the manhunt expunged. So anybody that participated, gone. Site of the event, God Valley. Island location, area, population, details erased. Number of fatalities unknown. And then we go, and this is Roger. Garp, did you know about that enormous black monster the government has? And they call themselves the good guys. And he's wheezing. He says, can't believe it either. And then Roger says, if you're going to quit the Navy, come join us. So Roger even invited Garp to join him. He's acknowledging his power, acknowledging his heart, acknowledging he ain't standing for bullshit. But Garp says, don't be an idiot. If I quit, okay, wait a second. Don't be an idiot if I quit. Who's going to watch out for the rank and file? When Garp makes this statement, is he thinking about Dragon being in, or is he thinking about everybody? Because we know that the current Garp, when he was teaching Kobe and them, talked about fuck all these old Marines and the old Garb. You look out for the up and coming because they're the future. They're the future heroes of tomorrow. So is he already have people underneath him? And he would have came out with Sengoku, like that trio of Sengoku and Suru. So Garp could have been a Roger pirate. He said, turn around, don't be an idiot. If I quit, who's going to watch out for the rank and file? You can't. Garp stocks keep going up. He's staying to, maybe something's going to, we know that Dragon got threatened to participate in God Valley even before he knew what it was. They threatened him or they would kill his platoon. So what would happen with Garp? I want to know the specifics. We continue. Roger stands up as Garp, starts to get up. And Roger's huffing and puffing. He goes, it all comes down to mass, doesn't it, Garp? And then Garp says, mass? What do you mean? As they're breathing heavy. And they continue to breathe and shrug off, get out of the rubble, knock the dirt off, wipe blood off. And Roger says, first of all, the color of armament is a power that doesn't yield to devil fruits. And on top of that, I was wreathed in color of Supreme King. There's no way it wouldn't have hurt him. And then Garp, still huffing, says, yeah, but he was guarded with Supreme King too, so that they cancel out. And then Roger says, exactly my point. There's no damage unless we surpass that. Uh-oh. Time to surpass your limits. The conversation continues, which I don't know where Xebec is, but if it's all down to who wears out first, we'll lose, says Roger. There's no way to keep up with a monster like that because of the regen and because he's canceling out their Haki. Garp's like, so you want to hit him with a critical mass of Supreme King Haki? And then Roger says, exactly. Don't even think about whatever stamina you'd need after that. And then Garp says, in that case, you're saying we don't come back from this alive. And Garp, Roger look at each other. Roger goes, if we can pull this off, all three of us will be down for the count. And Garp says, but if we miss, we're done for. Xebec stands up. Garp looks over through the blood coming down his face and his eyes. And then he says, listen up, Rox. I don't know what I can say to console you. I don't know what happened to you either, but there's one thing I do recognize. And as Xebec is standing up, tears dripping from his face, snot bubbles down his nose, his head tilted back, Garp says, I recognize your sorrow. As he says that, Roger has to get them tears out his eye. As he's swinging his sword around, trying to stay ready and prepare. And he goes, don't cry, you idiot, as he talks to himself and holds back his tears. And he says, God of fire. And we hear lightning start to crackle. And then Garp, we see 4 or 5 hands just appear out of nowhere on the left side of him. Infinitum. And then we hear, Wah! By Xebec as he heads towards him. And in this last epic double page, as he is just starting to come forward to them, Roger finishes God of Fire Ace as he slashes 6 slices, cutting off his right leg all the way up his right side. And Garp, Infinitum explosion, punches with a Gatling of fist on Haki imbued fire, punching holes into Davy D. Xebec. And then the narrator says the world government attempted to cover up everything that happened here. But the downfall of Rox D. Xebec and his lawless band of followers, the Rox Pirates, who wreaked havoc on their era, cast unmistakable reverberations that shook the very world. And as we read through this, we see cuts and punches going through Rox's body as he flies off. Tears down his face as there's a close-up and still flames coming off his body. And then Haki flying far past God Valley out into the ocean. We don't see the body disappear. We don't see him hit the ground. We don't see these motherfuckers lay down. We don't see nothing but this. And we know the Saint Saturn imbued with Emu has already left the island. This is the conclusion of 1165 of One Piece. I don't want to go. I don't want to go into predictions. I enjoyed this. I think it confirms some things. We're getting another explanation of Haki and how Haki works, because if Supreme King's Haki can cancel out if they're the same strength, we will see that on Elbaf a few more times with not only Knights of God and Gimu, but also with the Giants. I think Oda just reiterated that to let us know that that is a basic core principle, and also Haki can cancel out devil fruits, which Roger said, and him and Garp both agreed on those are the laws of Haki. Also, we see that the motherfuckers right here are extremely strong, so that would make us believe that Kobe, Blackbeard, and Luffy are extremely strong like this. And we don't know if Davy D. Xebec had a devil fruit. He did not use one, so I don't think he did. But if he used the Void fruit to create if he created like a pocket, a invisible pocket vacuum in between his sword strikes and his target, which caused the cannon-like blast, and why he's winning the Davy fights, that would be dope and badass. That would also mean Domi Reversi enhanced his abilities to this point to where it took Garp and Roger to hold him off. But it's weird. I can see the fact that he was souped up, and if he wasn't, I don't think all three of these men would be able to fight like a 2-on-1. I don't think Garp would be able to hold off Xebec and Roger. I don't think Xebec would be able to hold off Roger and Garp. I don't think Roger would be able to hold off Xebec and Garp without Domi Reversi being a power. So if Luffy, Blackbeard, or Kobe don't get Domi Reversi, it's going to be how far they have made it, not only with their Haki, because remember, Kobe's the only one with Haki and no devil fruit. Blackbeard and Luffy both have devil fruits. If we look at this battle, Roger doesn't have a devil fruit, Garp doesn't have a devil fruit, which leads me to believe that Xebec has a devil fruit. And Kobe, the odd man out, he's just the reverse of that. The next time we see those three figures, it'll be two devil fruits versus a non-devil fruit user. Haki. What else happened in here that we want to talk about? The Rocks Pirates continue to disband. I want to know where Kyo, Ganzu, Stussy, Shiki, where everybody goes after this. Because people are just leaving the island now. We see the Navy was already in their ships. We see Saturn's already leaving. So what is going to happen to the pirates that are waiting off the coast? Are they the Rocks Pirates are disbanding, so they should all be headed different directions. If we know where they're headed, we know where they will go for the future, and then we know where a couple of them end up. A lot of them end up on Thriller Bark, so I wonder if they stayed close to this area and died somewhere here, and Gecko, Kazuki, Moria found them. It seems like Roger and Garp got hidden to a mountainside, then they paid that back to Xebec. Gloriosa's here. She's joining the Roger Pirates, which we all thought was going to happen long ass time ago to get off the island. I don't know where they drop her off at. Linlin and Kaido have their little deal. This is where their little disagreement sparks. That is nice to get that. It's nice to know that Newgate met Marco's dad during this time. Yeah, this is where they created Monkey D. Dragon, the Revolutionary. He is done with the Marines. He's trying to save as many people as he can, get out of here. Gonna have them drop him off somewhere, and he's gonna be a deserter. He's gonna be done with this, and maybe run into Garp after this. That's what I see for Dragon. Are we gonna get that right now? I don't know. I think we're still finishing this conclusion, because without Saturn here, what do Garp and Roger do next with their crews leaving the island? Who else is here? Garp is gonna stay here. I wonder if Garp and Roger stay here and clean up, or do something like that. I wonder if there's something more legendary to what they did here after this battle than what's been told to us, and also if there's anything else that Davy D. Xebec has to say through the voice of all things. I'd be happy to hear that, because I don't know what else he could say. He told his family and them he loved them to get out of here. Kuma sent him to Lucia, so there's not much unless he gives secret knowledge to both of these men, which is also why they're staying alive. Because if Garp is staying to protect other people and make sure they're not killed and potentially dragon. The reason they can't kill him is because of what Xebec's told him and all the other stuff he's found out. And there's no telling if he's told anybody or not. No matter what they believe, there's always a possibility that this is going to get out. I think that's holding the world government at bay. Roger himself started exploration and finding out more. And that knowledge that he was finding out was due to like the fact that he stopped this shit at God Valley and the knowledge. I think that's enough to keep the world government at bay, and that they really can't touch him. Like, because you can see that Emu wasn't even really here. They possessed Saturn and did some bullshit and transformed Xebec and made Xebec do the dirty work. So there's something else going on with that and the amount of information they have that's keeping Emu and the world government at bay. Yeah, just beautiful spreads. I love the pacing of this. It was enough to keep me interested. And I like the way that they switch between the Rocks Pirates, Roger Pirates, Marines, and back in within just a page of each other. Very, very well done. I might have to start reading these chapters. But yeah, what'd you guys think? You got theories? Put them in the chat for me. Put them into the comments. That way I can go back and read them on Sunday. Remember, Sunday's the official read. We should be on break, I do believe, this week. And then we'll be back for 1166 after that. But I still have not done the SPSs. I've read them. I'm happy that Frankie and Queen are finally officially father and son. But I want to go through some of the other ones and what that might mean for us, and still talk about some of this because we've got new attacks from Roger, Garp, and even Xebec. Kaido didn't really know what to name his. We got Linlin and Newgate's powers, but I want to kind of walk through when we touch down on God Valley to where we are now and how we're ending, because where were Stussy? Where were Gloriosa? Where were some of these motherfucking people this whole time? I want to know. Thank you guys so much. Let me know what the music is if you guys can guess it. This has been 1165 of One Piece, them heaven splitters split in the sky, and it's just how many heaven splitters that we've had in the past and what we've seen throughout Luffy's journey, plus how many people are in One Piece and how many people cannot make that achievement. Crazy. Because it really sets us up to look and examine at the people that can and why. Is it really the will? Is it inherited will? Is it devil fruits? Is it Haki, inherited Haki, lineage? There's so many different things. But thank you guys so much. I'm Elijah 5000. This is Edge 2 Gaming. You can always come here every Sunday for the official live read of One Piece. And you can always check out this streaming channel for streams from anime, JRPGs, regular RPGs, fighters, shooters, and just game night games and more. Watch parties. We just did Kikyo Hitman Reborn, and it's 6:30 p.m. Central Standard Time right now. At 7 o'clock p.m. Central Standard Time. This Sunday is the very first episode of the Pod OKC podcast. So join us at twitch.tv/the Pod OKC at 7 p.m. That's like 29 minutes away. If not, just go there and check out the YouTube page and the Twitch channel to rewatch the episode. We're talking anime tonight, so join us. If you enjoyed this stream just about One Piece, let us get some more anime to roll off our tongue. Thank you guys so much. I'm Elijah 5000. Let me know what this music is, and I will catch your ass in the next podcast. Peace.